Here's an interview that a lot of y'all might have missed that we want y'all to take a listen to from my boy Eric B. Eric B was the guy that was going to be running the Death Row East, and y'all can hear this conversation between him and John and I, and it should be a good listen to for y'all. I want y'all to take a listen to it. This is Eric B, who's going to be the president of Death Row East.
Okay, did you guys have a logo done up for Death Row East yet, or no? Or was it just those flyers and the T-shirts that
Yes.
were? You did
Yeah.
have one. Okay, can you
No, no.
describe it to
I
people?
mean, it was the same. It was same logo. It just said Death Row East on it.
Okay,
Same logo, man in the chair.
okay.
Because what we did was, I remember we had a party in New York,
Mhm.
and we had 50 people out there with signs and Death Row East shirts.
Right.
And Tupac pulled up and said, "Yo, I think they're picking in our party." I said, "Pac, look at what the sign says." He said, "Oh shit, yo, you got me, you got me." So I mean, it's the same Death Row thing. It just said Death Row East on it.
Okay, okay. You had mentioned that Craig Mack was going to be the first artist, and I know he performed in Vegas the night that Tupac did end up getting shot. Were there other artists that you don't mind telling us that you either talked to or wanted to talk to try to get them on the label had it happened?
No, we took it one step at a time. So we had Craig Mack, and the thing about it is we had a lot of other people
Mhm.
that didn't have deals at the time,
Okay,
and we were working on them. But Craig Mack was our focus.
okay.
Was the One Nation album uh, in conjunction with Death Row East, or was that something
Yes,
separate?
that was the conversation. That was the conversation. That was the conversation to put it out on Death Row East. That was the conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you
And
share?
then
Go ahead, Reg.
could you also just share them? Because I remember a conversation where you were the one that kind of told Pop to the name people, that you have a problem with on the East Coast and stop just throwing it out like it was the East Coast. And that's why I think and hit him up. He named the people that he had a problem. Do you remember any conversations like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah, but my conversations I've always been the older brother, and the elder statesman,
Yeah.
being able just to have a conversation, saying, "Man, let it go, man. It's not that serious. These people don't have a problem with you." But I think the Vibe magazine is guilty of really perpetuating all of the silliness. I never forget looking at the Vibe magazine. They're talking about the East West Coast beef, and I'm on Sunset Boulevard in La Cienega, standing there on the corner and looking at a magazine that says the East Coast West Coast beef, and I'm like, this is
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
When even when I first used to come to L.A., Ice Cube used to pick me up in a Suzuki Sidekick with Dayton's on it. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Then I'm with Suge and Death Row, and we run it through L.A. and we're everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, I still try to figure out, well, where's the beef at, and who's the beef with?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't have no beef. We didn't have no beef with nobody. It was just individual people. This person didn't like that person. That person didn't like this person. But it wasn't a coast. It wasn't a coastal or territorial thing. Because Reg will tell you, they came to the East Coast and had a great time, and never had no issues and no problems and none of that silly stuff.
Exactly. I remember even that time when we went to Saturday Night Live. You remember you took us all to that
Yeah,
Benihana's, I think, that Benihana's restaurant.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember when y'all came in, y'all was staying out in Long Island. We were like, man, why
Correct.
y'all out here, man?
Exactly.
Ain't nobody got no problem with y'all, man. Come on into the city, man. We gonna go get something to eat and laugh and joke, man. And we took the whole team out, and people, and they understood because they thought that we had a beef with them, and there wasn't no beef. We never had no beef with nobody from the West Coast. It's just individual people didn't like each other. So you can't just lump the two coasts together and say because one person here or that person didn't like each other that everybody didn't.
Mm-hmm.
We all was in L.A. hanging out every day, every weekend.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit about how the One Nation album was presented to you? Were you there when it was recorded, or did Pac kind of talk to you about it? How did you learn about the album, and what were your thoughts on it before it obviously got, once he passed, they kind of remixed it and all that stuff?
Now, well, he talked about it was just it goes back to the thing we talked about with Nas. He talked about doing records with individuals that he really liked, and he just like there was guys like Melly Mel. He wanted to do a record with Melly Mel. He wanted to do a record with Big Daddy Kane. His idols that he said seen coming up. He wanted to do a record with Run DMC, Houdini. These guys that he idolized, and he was like, man, Eric, I just want to make a record called One Nation, man. Just put any and everything on it and stuff that I like on it, you know. And he said, if these people are really my fans, they're gonna love, you know, what I put on this record.